Well, I think it's about time I get that piece of crap Buick ready for wintertime, because that's coming up. So I'll move this Cadillac out of the way and bring in that rusty trusty Buick and see what we can do here. Hey now. I suppose I could be nice to it and let it warm up for a half a second before I start moving, but no, we'll just drive it. All right, now on to this thing. Yeah, I'm gonna check the steering and suspension, make sure it's not going to fall apart on me, and maybe I'll even change the oil. Once upon a time here, first time this year, I think. Or at least check it. Purrs like a kitten. Listen to that supercharger whine. Or maybe it's a bearing. One of the two. Hopefully the hood will pop this time. I haven't had it open in a while. Maybe. My early warning system for the pedestrians. They get out of the way when they hear that. A little sticky, a little noisy. That's fine. See how much oil we got in this thing. Hey, it's on the stick. I like it. Get a rag, wipe that off, and check her out. Yeah, it's just about right. We're just above the add line, so we're good. These Buicks, you don't need to run a whole lot of oil in them, but let's go ahead and jack this thing up and drain out the sludge, put some more in it, and check out the steering and suspension and everything, make sure nothing's going to fall off. Alright, I think I got most of the tar drained out of it, and I'm looking around here, and it doesn't look too bad. I got a little bit of Minnesota foot ventilation there, but that's not too worrying. The washers there are good, not falling off. The body's not rusted out there by the subframe, so that's all that really matters to me. I don't think it'll fall out. I did notice though that I think the inner tie rod on this one is not too happy, kind of flopping around a little bit. Let's check that out. Well, I haven't put the tripod mount on my new camera yet, so you get to sit there on the battery. And we'll take a look at that. Yeah, she flops a little bit. I don't think it's too much of ball joints. I think that's mostly inner tie rod, I'm pretty sure. Question is, do I want to get into that today? Well, more important question is, do I have another one? I'll have to go looking around. And this stupid thing, that can go. There we go. Perfect. Much better. Let's go look around and see if I got an inner tie rod laying around. Well, I took a little tour around my shop looking for parts and found some stuff I forgot I had, but no inner tie rod in for it. I found this one for a 93 Lesabre, and I think the older ones are different. Wait a minute, what is this? Ooh, that's an inner tie rod end. Doesn't say what it's for. I bet you I'll have to take that back. That's probably what I need. I don't know, I'll have to go look up the part number and make sure, but that might be the one. If I take it back, I may actually have the parts, but let's go ahead and throw an oil filter in this thing. Let's see if I can figure out. One of these is for a Buick. Come on, give me the filter I want. Yeah, that'll work. I think those are Buick ones. So we'll throw a filter in it and some oil, and then I'll contemplate fixing that thing. Alright, the oil's all changed. Got it topped back off. It's good to go. I don't think I'm going to mess with any of the other stuff under here. Should be fine for the winter time. And I went ahead and I looked up the part numbers for these tie rod ends, and they're both for this era of car. One's variable assist steering, one's without, so I should be covered. I don't know what this car has, but I think I'm going to wait on that because it's supposed to rain, and I don't want to leave the Cadillac outside in the rain. So we'll get to that when I got a nice day. But I think we've got some time. I'm going to jack up the back end and we're going to look at them tires, because I've got a bit of a duck waddle when you're going slow. So one of them tires at least is bad. So we'll see which one it is and see if there's any other problems, and then tackle that thing another day. Alright, we got it jacked up, and I'm pretty sure I found the source of my duck wall. There's a pretty big bulge there, and kind of a dip in over here in the center. So yeah, probably need a couple of new tires. I think I'll replace this one, and then my lovely spare I found in the trunk. Totally gonna work as a spare. I think I'll replace that one and that one, and the tire on the other side's still good, so I'll keep that one for a spare. It's still in decent shape. Overall, not too bad. She got a little bit of cancer, but nothing fatal yet. She'll live a couple more years. Alright, I got the wheel off and got it jacked up here, and when I was jacking it up I noticed something kind of funny. Putting the jack stand under it, and I peeked under here, and there's a wrench hanging there. I don't know if that's one of mine or one from before we had the car or what, but it's been there a while. I'll have to pull it off and see if I can tell if it's one of mine. But I got it jacked up. Let's go ahead and get that inner tie rod out of here and put the new one in. Yeah, there's a decent amount of play in that. So now what I got to do is crawl up under there, and there's a band around the back side of this. I got to take and knock it off there, and then I can slide the boot forward, and I should be able to knock the tie rod out. Alright, I got the boot slid down. It's got a clamp on here that I usually try to cut off with the chisel, but when I was banging on it, it just kind of popped off. So I'll pull that off, and I'll just replace it with a regular screw clamp. It'll be fine. And then if memory serves me, this plastic piece right here has to get shoved backwards, and then I can get access to the flat spots on this tie rod, and I should be able to just unscrew it and slap the new one in. Alright, I got that plastic piece pushed back. I just took a pry bar and gently tapped it and shoved it back, and that'll give me access to the flat spots on the tie rod. Probably easier to show you on the new one here. Give me access to those flat spots. Then I can put my tool on it, which is just a tube that goes over like this, and then a little wrench thing that sits in there. So, but before I use that, I've got to take off the nut here so I can get the boot off. But before I do that, I want to go ahead and get kind of rough idea of where that thing was sitting. Doesn't have to be perfect. A lot of people count threads. To me, that's a waste of time, because the people who count threads just take it straight to the alignment shop anyway. So I just get her in the ballpark like this, and then I'll take some spray paint around the back side, and that'll mark it for me, so when I take this nut off, I'll have an idea where it was. So I'll go ahead and do that, and then I'll hold the tie rod itself with either a 13mm wrench or a pipe wrench if the 13mm slips, and I'll take a 22mm impact and just zing that sucker off, and then pull the boot off, and be able to put my tool on and hopefully take it out. Well, you know, it's been on there a while when you got to use the 6-foot cheater pipe to try to break it loose. Hopefully I'll be able to get her to go. Well, I think it's moving. I hope that's what it's doing. Oh yeah, keep moving. Now we got her broke loose. A little bit of that on there to help it keep moving, assuming it starts moving. Alright, we got the nut off and the boot off. Pretty common for Minnesota cars to be rusty like that, so it wasn't a surprise. I was hoping I could leave that on and get a pipe wrench in back there and just knock this thing loose, take the whole thing out and put it in a vise to break that off, but it wasn't just going to happen. I couldn't get the pipe wrench in there and get a good grip on it, so we'll have to resort to the proper tool here, I guess. This thing's pretty simple. It's just got a collar that kind of loops around like that, and then that thing. So we'll put that thing on the flat spots right there. I think that's the right size. And then we can shove this in there. I think I'm going to turn the wheel out. Give me a little better swing. I don't want to have to break out the 6-foot cheater pipe for this guy. Didn't even need the 6-foot cheater pipe. Oh, you know. Well, there we go. Pipe wrench saves the day again. I was able to turn the wheel all the way to the left and get a bite on it with this thing. And since it was already knocked loose, I just had to sit there and spin it. So got her out. I think this thing, this ring might have caught on something, and once it expanded, it's all boogered out. Doesn't want to hold, so junk. But I got it out. I got the new tie rod ready. Unscrew her in and get this job done. Alright, I got the new tie rod screwed in there and tightened down with the pipe wrench, because, you know, the proper tools just don't work for me. So now we can slide this on. Slide that boot over the back of it. I got a clamp on there. Put a clamp on that one. And we'll just zing the nut down to the tape. And that should get us in the ballpark. There we go. That's good enough. And now I'll tighten that boot down and we can just slide this thing back together. Alright, I got the back of the boot snugged on there. I'm not going to tighten this one down yet because I've got to see if I can get this thing threaded into here. And that's a pain to turn. New stuff, it's good, but yeah, it'll turn. Alright, I got the inner tie rod threaded into the outer tie rod where I want it, and got the boot clamped down. So now we can just tighten this jam nut a bit. There we go. And we should be good to go. I can slap the wheel on and yeah, I'll probably take the back tires off, and I got new tires waiting, so I'll get them put on and should be good enough for winter. Alright, I got her back together and took out some of the play, but there's still some play in there. And it's the ball joint at the bottom. It's got a little bit of play in it that I missed, so I'll have to do a ball joint. I have it, but I don't think I'm going to do it today. Running out of daylight, so we're just going to swap out them back tires and probably get to that next week, I think.